Welcome to the Backfield Buzz podcast, a part of the Hive Podcast Network. Cody Wiles, Logan Glover, and Drew Foster here, as always, keeping you up to date with all things NFL. Fellas, week 7 is in the books. So we're here to take a look at the week with some superlatives after the 7th week of football. Man, 7 weeks done. October 22nd today as we're recording. Crazy. Like Glover, Halloween's in what, 9 days now?
9 days. This feels weird, man. Like we're already flying through the season. It's crazy.
Yeah, what we just passed the third of the way through, Frosty, I
Yeah,
think.
I guess.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, real quick, overall thoughts of just the NFL season, to this point, a little over a third of the way through now, Frosty. So, uh, what do you make? Maybe not from a Cowboys perspective, but just
I,
as
I,
an overall NFL fandom.
as I say, I think this was the best week of Cowboys football that I saw because we were on a bye week. So,
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised by the quarterback play. A lot of the guys that are consensus like the top quarterbacks, like Mahomes has not been good. Brock Purdy looks like a pumpkin on the field right now. Dak Prescott hasn't been good at all. A lot of guys that are up there, and you're seeing resurgence. Jordan Love looks like a Brett Favre clone right now. Like it's guys like that. Kyler Murray looks like he's playing like the number one pick that he was drafted as. There's a ton of emergences and a ton of guys that have kind of fallen off the radar a little bit.
You, you feel the season as a whole has felt really weird. Like I feel like we're only a third of the way through, but I feel like we're at a point already where it's you got the Chiefs obviously, and then there's the teams that are good, they're in the playoffs, and there's just a bunch of crap. Like it feels like it's already been determined on the teams that are going to be competing for the playoffs, and it's such a simple such an obvious divide, especially like in the AFC because that's where I've been looking most of the season. It's the four division winners. And then after that, who knows what you're getting? But we'll see.
I tend to agree. All right, let's get right into it. Best game is what we will start with. That's what we usually start with. A couple of good options. But Frosty, where did you end up leaning?
I ended up going with what I thought should have been the Sunday night game in Lions Vikings. The Lions somehow end up winning this game after they blew two 11-point leads in the same game. Jahmyr Gibbs proved he could be a bell cow. David Montgomery went out with an injury and then lost a fumble late, and Jahmyr Gibbs really put the offense on his back against this Vikings defense that had been shutting down everybody that they played so far. And I think the Lions proved that they are still the best team in the NFC right now.
Yeah. To me, it's no question Lions, Vikings. I didn't see a lot of other games that were, back and forth to the end, last kind of minute kind of thing. You knew who you weren't sure who was going to win until the last play of the game. This was one of those games. It was a great game, back and forth between two amazing football teams. And I agree. The fact that we had to watch Steelers and Jets on Sunday night when this game was at 1 p.m., ridiculous. How was this not the prime time at the start of the season? Like, I loved this game. This was really amazing. And Jake Bates obviously capped it off with a big time field goal. He was really good in this game. Amon-Ra was really good. Jared Goff's been super efficient this year. And the defense for the Lions stepped up in the absence of Aiden Hutchinson. Like they weren't crazy, but they did enough to get the win. So it was a really good game.
Yeah, to me it was either this one or the Texans Packers game where Jordan Love comes down and leads a game-winning drive, just a little over a minute to play. So those were two good games, which were pretty predictable coming into the week. I think you could say that these two games were going to be the best. Uh, but worst game. There's honestly a couple of good options for this one as well. Glover, where did you end up going?
Uh, I'm gonna go with Colts Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins are just putrid to watch right now. Like it's so ugly. Tim Boyle, I can keep how does our quarterback situation keep getting worse? Like I Tim Boyle is terrible. And if I'm a Dolphins fan, there's nothing pissing me off more than being in a close game against the Indianapolis Colts, who have not been good by any means, and seeing your two-star receivers and your prophet head coach giggling and laughing, having a fun time on the sideline in the fourth quarter of a game where you need to win. And that's what they're doing, and that's what you're drawing up. I mean, it was abysmal, and it just went from bad to worse when you get to a fourth down, need the first, get the win, and Tim Boyle throws the ball away. And He either throws the ball away, which is incredibly stupid, or he just missed his receiver by 15 yards out of bounds. I don't know what's worse, but God, Tua thankfully is back. The Dolphins will be watchable again. But man, that was
Dude, he
rough.
overthrew the cameraman on the sideline.
Like,
Like,
oh my God, that was brutal.
Yeah, for reference, the Texans cut this guy as their fourth QB, and he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
starting the game. So, I mean, Frosty Ridge ended up going because honestly, fellas, I'm not gonna lie, not the best week of football.
no,
no.
There like outside of the two games we brought up for possible best game, like everybody else was a worse game. Like you did see some offense, out in London. The Jags put up 32. Drake May had a solid day, maybe. Seahawks put up 34 points. Bills put up 34 points, but I mean, they were blowouts, right? So
yeah.
Did you guys see that London game? Did you see in the second half? I think it was the start of the fourth quarter. The Jags ran the ball 18 straight times.
wow.
The Patriots just couldn't do anything. I started Tank Bigsby and had it on the radio as I was driving up, and I was counting the fantasy points that he was getting. It was like
I
6 yards every carry. It was
I
crazy.
I started Tank Bigsby and Brian Thomas Jr. in one league, so I had double dip there. But yeah, hey, a kick return touchdown. I believe that was the longest in Jags history,
Hmm.
if I'm not wrong. Parker Washington.
Yeah.
All right, so hey, that was maybe a bit more credit than we're
50.
giving it. And Drake May looked good. I know a lot of Patriots fans were happy with the way he
Yeah.
looked. So, okay, we're talking good games now. No, Frosty, bad game, worst game.
Uh, I'm going Commanders, Panthers.
Yeah,
It No part of me did I expect to see an Andy Dalton against Marcus Mariota game in 2024 that I never want to see it again. Marcus Mariota looked good though, to his credit. Marcus Mariota actually did look, but it's the Panthers. I think I
Yeah.
could look good against the Panthers. But Andy Dalton is now reverting back to kind of what everybody expected when they put Andy Dalton in. Like this wasn't, he's not this 300-yard, three touchdown the game. Uh, at some point, I wouldn't be shocked to see them put Bryce Young back in again.
Yeah. The
I I want them to. I think it was
Yeah.
smart to just not bench him the whole year. That would I don't know who that would help more, but I mean, a couple weeks now, you would think they're probably going to lean to him at some point. I know there's some trade stuff that teams are inquiring on him. Like Glover, I mean, if you're the Panthers, you wouldn't be trading him, eh?
no. You can't trade a guy you take with the first overall pick a year later at an all-time low value. Realistically, what are you getting in return for Bryce Young? A fourth, maybe? If someone's
Yeah,
gonna take with the reclamation
you
project,
can't
and that's
sell him
it.
low. You
You
can't sell
can't.
low.
It's stupid. Eh, What's do you is that fourth or fifth round pick you're gonna get from really that valuable to your franchise? No, you're better off taking the guy you bet on with every asset you could possibly send out literally just over a year ago. You sent out your franchise for this man and you're ready to give up on him after a year? No. That's poor organizational work by them.
And that idea just popped into my head. Okay, so we want to do some rookie stuff as well on this channel, right? Or some dynasty mock drafts for future stuff, some college scouting. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's another reason why the Panthers shouldn't trade him. This QB class coming up is very bad. They're probably gonna get the first overall pick for the second year in a row, even though I obviously didn't pick last year. And like, what do they do? Like, they can't take a quarterback. They can't take one of these quarterbacks.
No, I think this is a good thing for the Panthers. I think you look at this class and you have options. You can grab a guy like McMillan to be a great deep ball threat who's just an athletic freak, like massive target for Bryce Young to have. You can see what you got in Travis Hunter, who's another athletic freak. You also can go defensive though, because the defense honestly might be a bigger problem than the offense. So you can grab Will Johnson, who's an amazing cornerback, Mason Graham, an amazing D tackle. There's O lineman in this draft. This is a really well-rounded class outside of the quarterback position. Don't 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 take a quarterback. Don't try to make Shedeur Sanders work. If you couldn't get Bryce Young to click in this offense, there is no one in this class that's going to click in this offense.
Frosty, I'm gonna put you on the spot. If you're Carolina Panthers right now, first overall pick, who would you take? Didn't warn you about
I'm
this at all. Just who would you take?
I'm taking Will Johnson because
Yeah.
I think looking at the wide receivers that are in college right now, the best ones are very young. They're like freshmen. So you can take the corner. Let the corner will take longer to develop. It's a tough adjustment for a corner to make when you're coming into the NFL from college. A wide receiver takes less time to adjust. That means you can draft a corner, or that gives Bryce Young time to get more into NFL ready. Even if he doesn't get NFL ready ever, you have your cornerstone on your defense. I think Will Johnson is going to be an all-time level corner. I think he's going to be up there with Pat Surtain. I think he's going to be on that level, and I think you can. I don't think that's as easy to find as it is to find a dominant receiver in like the second or third round, or waiting a couple years and getting a guy that can come in as a rookie and dominate the same way, like a Jeremiah Smith or a Ryan Williams.
No, agreed. You got to be looking long-term future here. Bryce Young, whether you plan on it or not, he's become a project. You have to work with him over the next 2 to 3 years to find his groove. So you can afford to wait for one of those elite freshmen you were talking about, because you can take that time and build up other positions. I think Will Johnson might be the best player in this class. I think as of right now, I probably would have him as the best player in this class. And he also would give support to JC Horn on the other side, who has all the talent in the world. This is his first really season where he's been able to stay healthy. Some more support might help him out there, as he's not forced to do so much. That could turn into a really elite cornerback duo in the future as they develop.
Yeah, like it's the NFL is so funny, man. Like last year, all offense. The draft class. Like, what was it? The first eight or nine first?
It
How
was
many
like
first picks
12.
were offense? It
It
was
was
it
it
was
was
all the
like
way up until
14
Dallas
or something,
Turner,
I
right?
think.
Like at
Yeah.
No,
13 to
I think it was
Minnesota or
it was
something.
it was like Atu Latu at 15.
Yeah, I think it was
14
14
straight offensive.
picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you look this year, and it's like it's gonna be a lot of defense, fellas. Like this top 10 is gonna be filled with
There will
defensive
be the
guys.
receivers though. This is a good receiver class on
Well,
top.
I mean, it's what's Travis Hunter gonna do? That's another
Yeah,
conversation. If
that is important to know.
I mean, I would love to hear, man. Now we're going off on a tangent, but I've wanted to talk
We'll make a
rookies.
full video on this.
I've wanted to
Yeah, yeah,
talk
yeah.
rookies, but real quick, what would you guys rather see? Travis Hunter play wide receiver or corner?
I'd rather see him play corner. I think
I
there's a big difference between a 6'2", 6'3" corner and a 6'2", 6'3" receiver. I think he's more valuable as a corner.
I'm going to agree. I think he's a better cornerback than he is a receiver. And I think the other thing you look at is you take a corner with those measurables who also has insane hands. He's going to be a ball hawk, along with just being a lockdown corner. He can keep up with the receivers. As someone who was running routes every play in college and in his experience in that department, it's going to be easy for him to follow those routes and be able to match up with some of these elite receivers, plus his ball hacking abilities. I think he'll be a better corner.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think with him playing both sides in college, his worst case scenario is he's like Trayvon Diggs
Yeah.
because he's got the elite ball skills. The coverage might not all be there in the NFL, but he's gonna get picks. He's gonna have plays where he flashes signs of him being the best corner in the league.
Yep.
Well, and then he would also have the ability to, make plays off that, gain yards off that, which seems valuable as well. I think here's my prediction. He's going to want to play wide receiver or both ways because that's where the money is. Or he's just
Mhm.
going to try to play both ways, which I mean, I don't know. Anybody commenting on it is like, no one's like really actually given it like a true attempt. Like it's been like, yeah, there's been some cases, but it's always like fizzled out. So I mean, I don't know if he's gonna. I mean, Carolina actually would be. They would need him to go both ways.
They
Like
could
it's
use him
high
on both
school.
sides.
Like it's high school. They would actually probably, and that's the thing. Like we've seen Deion Sanders want to come out and say he's gonna try to. There's gonna be some like directing a little bit to where these guys want to go. So he's
Not
gonna get him in the
Carolina.
right situation. And well, yeah, in this scenario, I don't think Carolina would be the go-to place, and that unless they're just out, they have the first overall pick, and they're just like screw it. But
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see for this draft class. Okay, uh, worst game got us talking about the draft class because that's you can't talk about the Carolina Panthers that much, so you need to result to the future and the draft class. I mean, can we all just agree then?
Yes.
7-40 with Marcus Mariota in for like
Yeah, that was
Absolutely.
ugly.
That
That
was
was
the worst.
ugly.
That's the worst team. I'd
Yeah.
also say the Commanders are the best team. Like that
Yeah,
was
we could parlay that.
yeah, like
The commies keep going, fellas.
the reason I say best team for them is yes, it was the Panthers, but you were able to put up 40 with Marcus Mariota.
At this point, they're consistently killing the bad teams they play, like killing,
Oh
like
yeah.
murdering them.
I
And
like
that's a good place to be when you're a team that's going to have an easy schedule. If you can lay down some of these bad teams and put up some crazy numbers against teams that you're because you get a lot of bad teams when you finish fourth in the division. They're going to play the Panthers. They're going to play the Bears. They're going to play all these crappy teams at the bottom of the division, and if they're a better team, they'll kill you.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some growing pains later on in the season, especially their
Oh yeah,
games like they play the Eagles, Falcons, Cowboys, and in Dallas to end the year. Now that hasn't really made a difference so far,
in
but
Dallas. Oh, that's a big plus for them.
but going into those games against teams that are supposedly have tougher, especially passing defenses, I think there'd be some growing pains, but right now they look like an absolute wagon.
I
Yeah,
mean, I think I'm calling them a playoff lock.
the
Like I think they make the
NFC.
I
playoffs.
think realistically,
I don't
like
want to talk about
they're
and just division wise. I don't want to hear anything about the Giants doing anything. I'm
no,
sorry, Frosty. I don't want to hear anything about the Cowboys this year. Just not their year.
no.
Like it's just not like there's a couple teams here like the 49ers. It's just not their year. The year from hell. I mean, this was gonna be my worst team, the 49ers, because like what is going on in San Fran? They were a type of team like it's just that one year for teams. You know what I mean? Like in Dallas and San Fran, who were these preseason like probably division winners for a lot of people. Uh, it's just a bad year for them. Hey,
Yeah,
So what I don't understand for the Niners is all of these guys have been healthy their entire career. And
yeah.
then all of a sudden, other than Christian McCaffrey, all of a sudden everybody's hurt. And it's like you can't do anything. You can't put it in like I don't think Brock Purdy has played well at all this year. But you can't put it all on Brock Purdy because he's got nothing to throw to. He either has the Avengers or he has nothing. There's no in between for him right now. And there was a lot. I think it was his first pick against Kansas City. It was just miscommunication between him and the receiver. He thought it was an out route. He thought the receiver was going to break upfield. He didn't, and he overthrew him by like 10 yards. And
and
it's like it's things like that are going to happen when you're down to your fourth, fifth, sixth string receivers.
the other thing to consider, I'm looking at their schedule right now. It doesn't get much easier. Yeah, the Cowboys next week. The Bucks are a really good team. The Seahawks have, when they're on, and they played you close last time you played them. The Packers, the Bills, who knows? We got with the Bears. The Rams already beat you once. The healthy Dolphins, the Lions, and you already lost the Cardinals once.
So yeah, that's what I was just gonna bring up because they got a tough schedule, but I still think they could make. I think they have a better shot of making the playoffs than Dallas does. I think the 49. I don't think you can fully rule out San Francisco quite yet, just because of the
No,
division. And like you could say that same thing with Dallas, but I don't like Seattle's. They're one game back of the Seattle of first place, and Seattle leads at 4-3. Arizona got Arizona. I don't know. Everyone was high on Arizona. They're getting worse as the year goes on. They can't stop the run.
no, yeah.
They, I mean, and the Rams leaked the script on them. Keep Kyler in the pocket and then play them straight up because
No,
Kyler gets outside of the pocket and is creating plays. That's where this Arizona Cardinals team can be great. They've kept him in the pocket. Teams are now doing that. That's what LA did. I mean, LA has a solid defense regardless, but if he can't scramble around, force him to stay in the pocket, I think that's the key to beating them. And then you can run all over them.
no, I'm not worried about the Cardinals. I would be worried about the Seahawks. I'd almost be more
Well,
worried
now
about the
DK's
Rams
week to
getting
week.
healthy.
I mean, well, now they want to trade Cup.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
this
That'll be
that's what I
interesting.
mean. This NFC West is
A
a
mess.
complete gong show. Like now in Seattle, yeah, DK Metcalf's hurt. I think Seattle, I mean, we'll see. I think Seattle and San Fran are the two that I think they
But
both
I
come out.
I don't think either one will be a wild card team because I think Washington will be in. I think Philly will be in. Detroit, Minnesota will be in. Green Bay will be in. Atlanta and Tampa. Like that's seven teams without including
Well,
the
yeah, I
NFC
think
West.
you're coming down to like say San Francisco's competing for a wild card. You're coming down, it's like them, the Eagles, or one of the Bucks or Falcons, whichever one you don't have winning the
Mhm.
division. So it's because I think we can all agree like three NFC North teams.
Probably. That
I
division
think
is
so,
a
yeah.
wagon.
Yeah.
And at some point they're gonna start eating each other up a little bit. So they'll take
Yeah,
some
we
losses
already
there.
seen a
But
little bit of
I
that.
mean, are we just saying Philly over San Fran?
I would. They're
Right
healthy.
now, yeah.
just because of the health. But like
Philly,
these
Philly
guys will
is
come back.
well, Philly no, but Philly's got a 2-game lead on the Niners, and they've been injured. Philly's just now getting healthy. San Fran's going the other direction. Philly's getting AJ
Yeah.
Brown back, they're getting Devontae Smith back,
Like
and
yeah,
they look amazing
Ayuk's
yesterday.
gone. Ayuk's gone, but
Ayuk's gone.
like
Who knows?
McCaffrey should be coming back. Debo
Who
should be coming
knows?
back. Like
Well, he
it'll
was
take a
supposed to
couple of
play
weeks.
week one. He was supposed to play week one with
I
that
don't
calf
know.
strain, and now he's missed
Okay.
what, 6 weeks?
Maybe you guys are onto something. Like, I think it's a bad year, and maybe the injuries are too much. I've
It's
also been higher on Purdy. I don't know why I'm defending the 49ers. It's just I don't feel like anybody else has really taken like
it's
Philly hasn't
I
like
think
taken it from me. Seattle hasn't like
I
taken it.
I take both. I'd take both of them over the Bucks right now.
I mean,
Godwin's
wow.
gone for the year,
so
and Mike
true.
Evans is gone for 4 weeks. Jalen
The
McMillan's their number one receiver for the next 4 weeks.
That's another thing about this season as a whole. The injuries have been unreal.
Insane.
There's very few teams you can look at this year that are fully healthy. Like this, and it's all been serious.
Yeah.
Like, especially these top teams, you look, the Chiefs, they got Rashee Rice out for the year. Pacheco's missed a lot of time. The Lions just lost Aiden Hutchinson for the year. These top teams are losing big names, like either falling like flies. Jane Daniels is now out week to week. It is
Yeah.
unreal.
I don't want to hear it. Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, Houston got the Nico injury, but which is like,
That's
I don't
still a
know.
great player out for 4 weeks.
Like
Yeah.
Baltimore, like I'm a
Baltimore's probably been the healthiest of the top teams, which is
and
ridiculous to say.
like Houston's been solid. I can't even complain with Houston's injury luck. Like Aziz Shire's missed uh, a couple games, but I don't know. Like Houston's been pretty good. Like
No,
Houston and Baltimore, I think have been out of the
oh,
contenders the
absolutely.
healthiest.
It is, it's an ass backwards season when the Baltimore Ravens are considered the healthy top team. We are
Yeah.
never healthy. And that's why I was so scared when Zay went down last game. It's like, oh no, it's starting. Like, oh God, here we go.
All
But yeah,
right. Well,
some of these top teams, it's hard to evaluate where they're going to be in 3 weeks because of their health.
I mean, Frosty Eddie, this is kind of an impromptu playoff check-in kind of thing. We're doing a third of the way through the season. Any final thoughts on just everything we've talked about? Really, like we jumped all over the map there.
I I want to go back to I want to go back to the AFC. I want to go
Okay,
back to the AFC
there we talk
because
all NFC there. Let's might
Let's
as
go,
well.
yeah.
I think outside of the four division winners, the
Exactly.
three wild card teams are gonna get manhandled in the first round. I think Pittsburgh could hold their own.
Yes.
I think Pittsburgh
Yes.
can hold
I
their
think they're
own.
a lock. I think they're a lock.
Yeah,
I do. I
they'll be
think
in the
so too. At
playoffs,
five and two, I think they're pretty
The
much a
defense is too
lock right
good. They're
now.
still
Yeah,
healthy.
yeah,
Russ was pushing the ball down the field. Like
which is
maybe we
Russ
could talk
is
about the surprise
Russ is a
player, Russ
better
Wilson. I don't know.
Russ is a
Like
better quarterback. He gives them Russ will win you more games than Justin Fields
he
will.
provides the receivers more value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Russ makes their offense significantly more dangerous than
And then you
Justin
can run the
Fields
ball
does.
better with
I don't think it's like, I think it's pretty easy to look at the AFC and go, the divisional round will be the Bills, the Ravens, the Texans, and the Chiefs. That'll be the divisional round. Doesn't matter who they
Yeah.
play, who gets the bye, that'll be the divisional round because the Bengals don't scare me. The Steelers, I want to, again, the Jets are a mess. So we'll
The
see what
Jets,
what that offense
yeah,
looks
where are
like
we
in
at in New York? We
2018.
just talked about Pittsburgh. They
The Jets are
crunched
they're
New
dead.
York. What
they're
are
They're
we
dead.
thinking? Because
the
they're not
Jets are
really hurt.
not
They're
they're
not
not a good
hurt.
team. They're just
They're
not a
missing
good
a lot of
team.
secondary pieces. I will say that's part of the reason George Pickens
Last
had a big
game.
game.
Yeah.
This is and another reason why on Sauce Gardner, he didn't follow George Pickens. He was really good on George Pickens, but the Steelers were like, well, then why the hell are we gonna line up George Pickens on your side when you abuse these backups over here because DJ Reed and Michael Carter are out? And they didn't follow. And it resulted in a lot of big plays. Like the Jets are dead in the water to me. Like I think the Dolphins are singing praises that the AFC is so terrible because they could just get in the playoffs with Tua back.
All these like bad start teams, Frosty, like Miami. I mean, you could throw New York in it. Like Miami, New York,
The
Cincy,
Bengals,
Jacksonville.
like
Yeah, all four of them are like licking their chops because it's like how legit is Denver, who's 4-3? How legit is Indy, who's 4-3? Like you would think I'm still leaning Miami, New York, Cincy,
Like,
Jacksonville to close strong here.
and not maybe not Jacksonville. Maybe not Jacksonville.
Well,
I
Jacksonville's
think
defense is too bad, but yeah.
yeah, I think the three wildcard teams are going to be Pittsburgh, Denver, and Cincinnati. I just trust Denver's defense.
I think I like there's a part of me for some reason wants to go Pittsburgh, Cincy, Miami. Like I just feel
I
like Miami might just do it because it's
So you
that
guys, hey,
easy right
both
now.
have Pittsburgh and Cincy, so that's where you guys are
I
leaning.
think Pittsburgh and Cincy are
I
the fact that Cincy's almost a lock at 3-4 is ridiculous. They
And the
should be
fact that we're
playing a
talking about
wire.
2-4 and 2-5 teams making the playoffs right now over the Colts that are 4-3, which is
I
hilarious.
don't trust the Colts at all.
So you guys believe more in the Broncos and the Chargers?
Yes.
Yes.
I would tend to
I
lean the other
think
way.
so. I think the Broncos defense is more legit than the Chargers is.
Mhm.
And I
The Chargers,
I don't love the Chargers offense.
I don't either. That's what I was gonna say. The Chargers just failed to score a touchdown on the Cardinals. You want
On
to know
a
why that is? You want to know why that is? Greg Roman. I am. He is not going to make this offense good. They're going to be as predictable. They're already predictable. You stop the run, they have no weapons. And he can't scheme a pass play to save his goddamn life.
This was a very good game from Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert played
Yes.
very, very well this game. He
With
should have had a
no.
touchdown with Jalen Reagor, who Butterfingers fumbled the ball in the end zone.
At least he
But
caught it this
he
time.
he threw for 350 yards and he didn't get a single touchdown with no picks.
Okay,
It,
can I rebuttal? Let me give the Charger side of things. Okay, defensively, I would still take Denver over them probably in the long haul, but LA is top 10 in defending the pass and the run above they're a better run defending team than Denver right now. Uh Obviously Denver's going to defend the pass better, 100%. Once Pastor Chan's back in there, that's why I think I ultimately take them just because
yeah.
defensively, offensively, I think there's growing pains and it's still early. And I think they're going to find it, especially I'm taking I'm a bit lower on Herbert lately, but I'm taking Herbert over Bo Nix
Oh,
when it
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm taking the Chargers offense as a whole over the
I
Denver Broncos.
I simply think the Denver Broncos are scheming their offense better.
I just
They're
think it's going
putting
to come around. I feel like a lot of new pieces there. I think
it
there's
could,
like you're watching it and you're like, what is going on? Like
but I
there's just
think
I think it's just growing pains. That's what I'm
yeah,
chalking it up to.
I I I can't to me there is definitely growing pains, but I can't fully chalk it up to growing pains knowing that Greg Roman had 5 years to scheme a pass offense with Lamar Jackson. Todd Monken took half a season. He's got it clicked like that. I don't think he can. I don't think Roman can do it, especially with these weapons. Like Lad McConkey's great, but
There's a
that's
lot of new players there too, is my point.
oh yeah.
McConkey's there.
But
Dobbins is now in town. Johnson's only in year two.
I think if you stop Dobbins, that offense kind of falls flat. Like we saw against the Cardinals. They stuffed Dobbins and the offense couldn't finish.
Okay, is it fair to say, Frosty, that they'll get better? I
Mm,
think they'll get better offensively as the year goes
Yeah.
on. It's just what level. Because remember, the O line is not healthy right now. Remember, the O line was much
Yeah.
better in the first couple of weeks, and coincidentally, the Chargers were running the ball better and they were playing better, and people were higher on them. But now that they're a little banged up on the O line, uh, I don't know, man. I think there's untapped potential there offensively rather than like it's just dead and it's just not going to get better and it's just not good because I like that offensive upside better than Denver's. And I think they're on the relatively same defensive level. Maybe Denver can defend the pass a bit better.
What scares me is the Chargers' highest point total this season is 26 against the Panthers. Their
100%.
3 wins this year, they did
100%.
beat the Broncos, which
Yeah.
we haven't mentioned yet, but their other 2 wins are the Raiders and the Panthers. That's like they only put up 10 on the Steelers, 10 on the Chiefs, and 15 on the Cardinals. So
Would you
two
be
combined touchdowns in three
would you guys
games.
be interested to find out that the Chargers average more yards per game than Denver
No, that
offensively?
see, that doesn't surprise me.
Look at the last game. What happened? How you
yeah.
putting that on Herbert? It's just
No. I just on Herbert, but
yeah.
they struggle in the red zone, and
I
that's
think that'll
gonna
get
hurt you.
well. That's what I mean. All the new pieces. That's the hardest part to figure out. I think they can get figured out. Fair.
I
I
think right now we're
Well, I
looking at
think I would rather take both these teams to be fair over
the Colts.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, agreed. Again, I think it goes. I think the wild card is Cincy Steelers. Then if Miami turns it around, the Broncos and the Chargers.
Okay.
Like I I don't trust the Colts because they look terrible, healthy or not fully healthy. They were missing Taylor, so that is a big loss. But they look terrible against the Dolphins, and the Dolphins suck without Tua.
I don't like Miami in general, even when Tua's back.
No.
We'll see. Yeah.
What's he gonna be? What's Tua gonna be? Is Tua gonna be Tua?
Uh,
Well, there's that
how
Like,
long? I
piece.
think the bigger question is how long is Tua going to be Tua before he ran on a defender with his helmet?
I mean, I wasn't even thinking about the next time he would come back. I just like there's other problems than the quarterback. Like Phillips is done for the year. That defense is very
The defense has
suspect.
been questionable. I think Mike Daniel
The
has
O line sucks.
the O line is terrible. Mike McDaniel has not coached well either.
Yes, eight now. The RBs are like banged up and looking like there's some weirdness in the RB room. Even though I like their guys still, like I like Achan. I think Jalen Wright has some untapped potential as well. Mostert's looked better last couple of weeks, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if Tua comes in and fixes all their problems,
Ah, I
especially
I
with I don't know if it's gonna take him
I
time to get back to normal, and then or he just gets hurt again, like you guys said. So
I think it's going to be a lot like Devonte Adams on the Jets. Like there's too many other holes for one guy to come in and fix. Like
yeah,
yeah.
their their passing offense right now is not the issue. It's part of the issue because they literally don't have a quarterback.
or an
But
O line.
exactly, they don't have an O-line. The run game can't get going. The defense, it looks good against the Colts,
The
but it's
one
the
thing I think
Colts.
I think the run game will get better purely to the fact that if Tua's back in the lineup and they can get the pass game moving a little bit, you can't just ignore it. Because right now, defense can flat out say, I do not care if they're throwing the ball. It's never going to get completed. So we'll just load the box up and not make sure 8 chain doesn't beat us. They can't do that if two is in the lineup. I think that'll end up making the offense move a little better and they'll be able to make some quick plays happen and make up for the O line being terrible.
All right, well, that was a good little team roundup we did there. Hey, we talked a lot about the teams. We got to get to some of the standout players though, specifically from week 7. Let's touch on these players real quick, guys. Offensive player of the week, Glover. Who did you end up going with?
Who do you think I ended
Hmm.
up going with?
Huh.
Lamar
Hmm.
Jackson, the Jackson 5 again, 5 touchdowns. I mean, he was throwing the ball so well that game against the Bucks. That's probably his best throwing game of the year. And in my eyes, in what I feel at this point should be the consensus eyes, this year he has been the best quarterback in the NFL. He's on pace to win his third MVP. And if this Ravens defense can get their heads out of their ass in the fourth quarter, this team is able to compete with the Chiefs. Beat them, we'll see. That's a whole other story right now. But the offense is the best in football, and Lamar Jackson is playing out of his mind with some of those throws he was making again in that last game.
Yeah, I've I've slandered Lamar a lot on his ability to throw the ball. I think he's an unbelievable quarterback still, regardless, but he's showing way more this year as a thrower than I've seen for his entire career so far. And I think that's the main difference with this Ravens offense right now is it's multi-dimensional.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's been the best quarterback so far this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
This should be his second MVP year.
Okay. Okay.
I ended up going with Saquon Barkley,
Yeah,
uh,
that's also very
just
fair.
because I like the story. I think
Oh,
this one gave me the edge. Could have gotten more than this, 176 yards and a touchdown. It's just poetic.
dude, man, is there anything worse than being a Giants fan and knowing that you traded, basically exchanged Daniel Jones for Saquon Barkley? Like, God, that's
Oh,
gotta hurt.
like,
Man, he was good. He was so good.
and they drove him out of town. I can't believe they booed him too. That's
Dude,
crazy.
well, I mean, actually,
They were lighting up Barkley jerseys on fire
That's
pregame.
that is also
It was like
insane.
crazy.
there's literally video proof that he like
Like,
wanted to be like he wanted to stay, and it wasn't him.
Here's the way you can think negatively of Saquon as
Burning
a Giants
on the
fan.
barbecue? Like what? What are we
Yeah,
doing?
like,
but Saquon being so good is the reason Daniel Jones is a job right now. He
yeah.
single-handedly got him that contract. If Saquon didn't play that year, Daniel Jones would not have a contract. They wouldn't be anything. But it is, yeah.
I know Jones has been better than Patrick Mahomes this year.
Well, yeah,
Patrick
but
Mahomes has been like a bottom five quarterback this year.
and he's only just
6 and 0.
as of yesterday, he's finally been dethroned for the favorite for MVP. He's still second, but it took until that game for Lamar this week to finally overtake him for first in MVP voting. But no, I think Daniel Jones has been terrible. And really look at that Giants team. They have a lot of pieces I like. The defense has been playing really well. Brian Dable is a great offensive mind. Tyrone Tracy looks really good. Devin Taylor looks really good. The O line's beat up right now, and you have Malik Neighbors. So you get a quarterback, and there's a lot of potential for that team. But if you had Saquon Barkley and no quarterback, it would look a lot better right now.
Yeah, yeah. I have Saquon as my offensive player of the week too. I just under 20 touches and he almost had 200 yards total. He would have had three touchdowns if Jalen Hurts wasn't a hawk at the goal line, just getting pushed from behind into the. He had two 1 yard rushing touchdowns, and Saquon had one rushing touchdown. Like I would have loved to see him get a hat trick against this old team. That would have been amazing to see.
He also could have beat he could have gotten a new career high in rushing yards, but he decided now the other guys have some
Yeah,
runs.
like that's
I'm
it's
telling you,
crazy.
if I'm playing in that atmosphere against my former team and they're booing me like that, there's not a chance in hell you're sending me out of that game. I am going to run all over them and get 250 yards because he was like going crazy.
Oh, he was unbelievable.
Like he
Like
averaged 10 yards a carry.
All right, where did you guys end up going for the defensive side of the ball?
so I figured Logan was gonna say Marlon Humphrey. So I went different. I took Jalen McCullough of the Rams because he had two picks, same as Marlon Humphrey, but he did it in a 5 point win. And I just wanted to be able to highlight. He might have flown under the radar a little bit because it was a low scoring game, wasn't very good of a game to be completely honest. But he stepped up big on the Rams defense, and that team needs people to step up right now.
No, yeah, I went Marlon Humphrey. I mean, two picks in the first half, and really, if he didn't have those, that game could have gone the other way because the one in the end zone, and if the Bucks get driving there, who knows if they get stopped. Fortunately, he got hurt. I think he'll be end up being fine. But yeah, it was he played his best game of the year. He's been nagging injuries. He hasn't been himself these past couple seasons after his All Pro year a couple years back. I think that would have it's like almost 3 4 years ago now, which feels crazy. But he's coming back into his own this year. He's been really solid, and he's playing. He's made some flukes. He's had some mistakes. He's let up some big plays, but in the big moments, he's shown up and he's made clutch plays for the Ravens.
I ended up going with Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
Was a big part of the defense that held the Giants to 3 points. Led the game in tackling at 11, is up there for the week as well. Yeah, 11 total tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 4 QB hits. He was everywhere. He was all up in Daniel Jones's grill. So, yeah, Nakobe Dean was great at rushing the passer.
Yeah, he was amazing. He was a guy I considered for sure.
All right. Well, let's go to rookie of the week then. It's just getting more fun and fun to do the rookie of the week as we go on. Honestly, I have fun for this category. I'm gonna kick it off because honestly, I'd be shocked if you guys went any other way. I went Drake May. Do we all agree on Drake May?
No,
I had a 1A, 1B. Drake May is my 1A.
Okay. Well, who's the 1B, Glover?
I went Beanie Bishop, UDFA for Pittsburgh.
Oh, the picks.
He had two picks against Aaron Rodgers and six tackles and a tackle for loss. He was really good. He was almost my defensive player. Like he was up there for defensive player of the week. I think this is the first defensive rookie we've picked all year, and it happens to be a UDFA who's playing like his third start or whatever it is. But yeah, he had a great game against one of the best quarterbacks, not in the league right now, but of all time.
That that also wasn't my 1B. My 1B was Keon Coleman.
Yeah, that's fair.
He had 125 yards receiving. I think a lot of people thought with the Amari Cooper acquisition, he was going to get phased out of the offense a little bit, and it was going to be Cooper and Khalil Shakir in the tight end sets. And he looked like the main guy in that offense, even more so than James Cook, because Cook was just getting stuffed at the line all night long.
I think I would like to take some like credit for his breakout because I've been holding him all year in fantasy, and I finally dropped him heading into this week, and then he goes off. just my luck. So I want a piece of that. But yeah, he was amazing, and now everyone's all over Keon Coleman. But I think it's a bit of the offense opened up because Amari Cooper's a threat, and I think me and Wild we talked about this a little bit yesterday off stream, but the thing with this offense is the reason it was felt so stagnant and why Josh Allen couldn't push the ball down the field is there was no threat. And Amari Cooper coming in, it really is going to open up that offense. It's going to allow James Cook to do a little bit more. It's going to make the threats of Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir much more noticeable because they have to worry about Amari Cooper. Just like whether he was producing or not, the defense held to respect Stephon Diggs last year, which allowed for the rest of the offense to thrive. I think that's where they're going to get back into that sort of groove down the stretch.
I think that's fair to say. I mean, maybe it was unfair to say that Drake May was the unanimous decision, I
Yeah.
guess, because I mean, you made a decent case there for Beanie Bishop, and I mean Coleman had a good week too. I don't know. Maybe it's because I got to see Drake May's first game. Like I just because he's playing the Texans, so I was just ultra locked in on it. The stats like don't jump off the page. I think it's just the throws he makes. And it's just, I guess I took the quarterback position into some value or whatnot. But I mean, 26 of 37 for 276 yards, two touchdowns, no picks, and had a rating of almost 110. I don't know. They lost, but they're clearly better offensively. Like, and it's not
Yeah.
even close. And he
This
just makes them so much better.
this quarterback class, unlike most of the 5, 6 quarterbacks in the first round classes, looks really good so far. Caleb Williams is getting better. Jane Daniels looks like a star already, and Drake May's played really well. Bo Nix has played even well, and then you got Michael Penix and JJ McCarthy, who we still yet to see, but really good
Rattler has
development
shown
so
like
far.
low key, like some flashes too.
Yeah, like this has been an impressive
I
quarterback class.
I think what's shocked me the most is I thought Drake May was a lot more raw than he is. I thought Drake May was going to come in and he was just going to be a mess in the pocket. He was going to be scrambling around like crazy. He looks calm. His footwork is there. He goes through his progressions. Like he looks like an NFL ready quarterback, and I don't think anybody really expected him to be this early.
I think if this is what the Patriots were seeing in practice every day, then starting him as early as we all questioned it, but then starting him early makes a little bit more sense. If you were seeing this calm, cool, composed young quarterback behind that terrible O line, you were seeing him still sit back, go through his progressions, and make a good throw, then okay, yeah, start him because he's obviously taken the steps necessary to improve the things that were kind of questionable about his game heading into the draft.
Yeah, he's making some touch throws that like I didn't see coming at least like first couple of starts.
Hmm.
So with the he's shown some power, like just bombs as well. So and he's been using his legs pretty solidly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went with Drake May. We all kind of mentioned Frosty. You went Drake May. You didn't mind Keon Coleman though, and then
Yeah.
over pulling out the
Beanie Bishop.
I will say the one thing that scares me for Drake May is the Texans and Jags. The Texans defense hasn't looked as elite as I expected it to be this year, but he looked better against them than I expected him to.
Mhm.
Now he gets Jets, Titans, Bears in his next 3 games. Those are probably three top 10 defenses right now. I want to see how he reacts because I think all three of those teams are probably going to throw a ton of pressure at him because they trust their secondaries. And especially with the O line that they have, I want to see how Drake May is going to react to maybe seeing a little bit more pressure and if he's still going to be able to make the throws with guys in his face.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what the health of the Jets secondary is. It'll determine a lot about how tough that matchup's going to be, because if they only have Sauce Gardner again, they'll be able to not they're not going to beat him or like play a great like they're not going to be it's not going to be great like that. But I mean, you could see some great plays from Drake May. He might not be under duress as much as you would think if they're fully healthy.
I will say, I think the Texas defense has been really solid, to be honest. Like they, especially against the pass, they're fourth best against the pass in the league, and they've allowed the second least amount of yards completely throughout the league. I think their defense has been really solid. So that's why when I was saying this Drake May, I was like, I saw it against a good measuring stick. Like I think Houston's defense has flown way under the radar. It's the only reason these guys are 5-2 because the O line has brought everybody down, like everybody. Just Stroud and Collins were able to burst through that hole, but with Nico out, it's really reared its ugly head that we were getting away with to start the year. And then we still almost beat Green Bay. Like nobody's talking about that we still almost beat the Packers. It took a game, like a late drive field goal, which I knew was coming. And then,
Okay.
but still, they were, I don't know, they kind of got caught up a little bit. Texas Twitter's on fire right now, by the way. So,
I bet it
but
is. I bet it
I,
is.
I had to get that in there. We could talk about all these teams and not talk about the Texans. No, you got to stock Ravens
That's
all.
how you win.
Yeah, I know. I've been keeping quiet because there hasn't been much to talk. Can I vent a little bit? All right. Even though we're 5-2, so it's
It's a nice place to be.
Must be
lots to
nice.
like. All right, let's wrap up here with surprise player of the week. Who surprised you? Good or some people, Frosty, have been implementing surprisingly bad. Did you end up going bad again?
So I did go bad, and I might have went even further off the board. I don't know if this is allowed. My surprise player from this week is Todd Bowles, because I thought Todd Bowles was a lot smarter than keeping his starters in a four possession game with less than 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and then losing your leading receiver because he got his ankle rolled over by a 300-pound Roquan Smith, and his feet are pointed like this while he's laying on the ground.
Yeah.
It was a stupid decision. I have no idea. I get they got two touchdowns. It made the game look a lot closer than it was. It looks a lot nicer on the scoreboard. There was never any actual chance of them coming back. They couldn't have done that better than they did. They got an onside kick and they got a turnover in that span. They couldn't have done more. So there's no reason for him to have his starters in there at all, especially after the 2 minute warning. You're still down by two scores. It's just it. I just don't understand why Todd Bowles would do that.
Especially considering you already lost Mike Evans for
Yeah,
you know he's missing a couple weeks. It's really tough. I mean, Ravens did their best to blow it. They really tried their hardest. They put a full foot forward to try and blow that lead. They didn't quite do it, but yeah, it's not that's not a great look. Not a great look.
I don't know if you guys saw the stat on the onside kicks against the Ravens versus everybody else. Teams are now 2 for 4 on onside kicks against the Ravens and like 0 for 17 against the rest of the league. It's hilarious. I don't know what they were 2 for 3 until the Ravens got the second onside kick
Yeah,
that the
yippee.
Bucks tried.
I hope John Harbaugh's a special teams coach just reams him. Like this guy's a special teams guy. Like God, give him hell. That was to be fair though, that was a perfectly executed onside kick.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how McLaughlin kicked it, and the bounce was just perfect over every single one of our guys.
It's
Like
just
I'm sitting there like, oh shit, oh my God, here we go. Like I don't know how that was just a perfect bounce.
it's like the opposite of the was it Anders Carlson that tried it for the Niners? I believe he didn't even get it 5 yards down the field. He just kicked it and it spun in place.
Like onside kicks are such like it's either the most beautiful thing ever or it's just like what the hell was that garbage? Like I remember one year watching Chris Boswell try the onside kick where he did the
The
tried to kick the other
behind.
side. He tried crossing his legs and he kicked it backwards. Oh my God. That one happened against the Ravens, so that didn't count against us. But yeah, it was onside kicks are such a mess. They're such a fluke, especially when you have to declare them, which is just
Yeah.
stupid.
All right, Frosty, who'd you or Glover, who surprised you? And you can't say Bateman. Can we not go like can we not just be like all
Yeah,
this
you
Raven
can't say
stuff?
Ravens for the whole
Please.
thing. You
He
had
was on my
offensive player
list.
of the week, you defensive player of the week.
He was on my list, but no, I'm gonna go Russell Wilson because
Yeah.
like I was so down on him, and honestly, that first half was terrible. He was terrible in the first half. He was missing some really easy throws, and then all of a sudden it just clicked, and he started chucking them up to George Pickens. George Pickens made some amazing catches too to help there, but yeah, I could not believe Russell Wilson unlocked that offense because I just thought it was a skill issue in the entire offense. I didn't think it was gonna be a difference between Wilson or Fields, and he proved me wrong for at least this game. We'll see if he can keep it up against some real teams. But yeah,
I yeah, I
Yeah.
have Danger Russ as well, the Danger Witch.
The danger witch.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Is
Corny,
that a
corny.
is that a 3 for 3 there?
No,
A
because Andrew was Todd
No, I,
Dangerous?
Bowles.
I I think it's Todd
He's
Bowles.
got Todd
Oh
Bowles.
yeah, Todd.
It's not if I were to if I had to pick a player, it would probably be Russell Wilson.
You're not giving us the 3 for 3 on the Dangerous
Todd,
because you want to put a coach in
I'm
for
putting
surprise
Todd
player
Bowles
of
on
the
that
week.
graphic. It's gonna be Todd Bowles.
If I have to pick a player, I would pick Russell Wilson, but
Okay.
the person in football that surprised me the most was Todd Bowles because I thought I hold Todd Bowles to a high standard because I think he's a very, very good head coach. And he made a brain dead decision that could cost him his season.
Yeah, no, it was Joe Buck and Trey were talking about like, what are you doing? Like, can we just give up? The game should have been over a half hour earlier but the Bucks
Yeah,
just refused to die. Like to be fair, at a certain point, like at one point in the fourth quarter, they actually had a shot because it is the Ravens and anything is possible. But you get to a certain point, you're like, and they were like, you're not winning here. And I think they legitimately said it like 2 or 3 plays before the Chris Godwin injury. They were like, you should really take your stars out because it's going to get dangerous in this point. You're playing for your health, and then bang, Chris Godwin injured. It's like, oh my God.
Rough out there in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, and with the Hurricanes too. Hopefully,
Jesus.
like it's just bad out there, man. Like just bad juju, unfortunately. Um, yeah, that'll do it.
that's it.
End on a low note.
Yeah, why do we have to do that?
You brought up the Hurricanes.
I don't know. It's just like I hope everybody's doing well. It's just like, damn, what's with all this like everybody's
Tampa
getting
Bay got some
hurt.
bad
Like there's
juju.
just yeah, like
I
Miami
mean,
too with the Tua
we,
stuff. Like we
we
were talking about a lot of bad stuff going on down
look
there
at the
for those
state of
teams.
Florida. It's kind of in shambles right
And when
now.
the Panthers started bad, Florida Panthers, how are they doing?
Look at the Florida State Seminoles, man.
Oh yeah, Florida State has been
That's the big
terrible.
one. At least they have the U.
Yeah, they have Miami.
But yeah, yikes.
Hey, NBA season starts tonight. Miami Heat. Let's see what they got, eh?
Ooh.
Orlando
Oh no.
Magic.
Easy.
That's the Florida team I want to watch.
Orlando Magic's there as well. Man, it's just the best time of year. October. Just like so much going on. It's the best. It's the best. World Series starts on Friday.
See if
NBA season kicks off tonight. Yeah, okay. You can say what you want about the World Series,
So,
but the fact that in
okay,
a normal year, it's everything's going on right now. College football, NFL,
re
obviously.
realistically, I didn't like the World Series at first, but this is the two best teams. This is the most talent that you could get in the World Series. You have the best on best. Yes, they bought their way there and it sucks, but this is the best teams.
I think if I was a neutral fan, if I was like a Oakland Athletics fan, I could live with it and I could enjoy it. But as a Jays fan, sitting there going, the Yankees, who are the Yankees, so I hate them, and Shohei Ohtani a year after his first year as a Dodger after nearly signing with the Jays, either result hurts me. So I can't enjoy the fact that it's best on best talent.
For someone who's been like, oh, do not come if you're here at the Backfield Buzz for baseball takes. Oh, you're in the wrong
Yeah.
place because I checked out on this season.
Oh,
My like, oh, it's been a while, so I don't even know what's going on right now. And it's honestly, so I don't care who wins. Like, I see the, I see the, with the for a Jays fan why you should care, and like it's just bad either way. But I just don't even care enough. So I'm just waiting until free agency to see what Ross Atkins and Mark got cooking up.
oh,
Frosty, what do they got cooking up? You're a resident baseball guy on the Backfield Buzz.
Not much, I can tell you that. They're not going to get, there's going to be a ton of talk about them going to get Juan Soto, and it's going to be like, they're going to be rumored to offer him like 400 million, 460 mil, or 450. The Yankees are paying him $650 million.
yeah.
They're not letting him leave. Do not get your hopes up. I can promise you.
That's why I was rooting the Tiger, or I just want like the Yankees needed to lose
Yeah.
at some point before probably the ALCS for like the Soto
And
thing to really be real, like in their
and
first playoff
Soto
matchup, basically.
and
Yeah,
Soto had the winning home run.
yeah, and like no chance. So
Crazy
who's
that he
next
didn't
up?
get MVP.
Who's next up? Who's the next best bat?
I mean, Willie Adames is a free agent. Anthony Santander is a free agent. Then they might get Willie Adames if Bo's like gone, which I hope he is.
I like
But
Santander or Santander. How do you say
Santander.
On there.
Santander. I always
Um,
say Santander, and everybody gets mad at me
Santander.
because it's not right, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see him doing a lot. I think they'll bring back Randall Grichuk and be happy with that.
Okay, that's a good. Okay, now we're ending on that. Bad again. All right. Thanks for watching the Backfield Buzz. All over the place today. We
Yeah,
were
a
moving around. Hey, we're
little bit
just talking.
everywhere.
We're just hanging out, right? All right.
We
Well,
didn't get to
thanks.
do this episode last week, so
True.
Yeah.
Breaking
So
up
we're
for it.
well, we went long. We're probably long today as well too, but it was fun.
yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching the Backfield Buzz. If you want to find general NHL thoughts, if you're an NHL fan, check the channel out. We got the What's Buzzing podcast talking about them. The Blue and White Buzz, you can see myself and Karim Booley are talking about the Leafs. We are objective on the podcast. Just it's from a blue tinted glasses view.
Okay. Sure. We'll go with that one. The
Mhm,
marketing there.
mhm.
Point is, we got other NHL stuff on the channel. If you want to check it out. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, like if you like. If you want to see more football content, we got the preview coming up next episode. Probably within the next couple of days, we'll get it out. Fantasy and betting. The boys betting are back, boys.
Oh,
Fellas.
we're on fire.
And
We are on
Yes.
fire.
honestly, we're coming back in the fantasy stuff
And it
as
wasn't a
well.
great week for us in the fantasy.
Yeah, well, I have
I
some we both have some
I'm
leeway.
upset.
Okay, all right.
I'm
We'll get to
upset
that
with
next
fantasy.
episode.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
cannot put that in there.
Yeah, no. I could rant for an hour just on fantasy right now.
All right, well, that's a good place to end it. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, keep it buzzing.